Hello friends, welcome to Learner's Planet. This is our theory session for the topic structure of the atom. Now in this session students, we are going to discuss about the atom and the discovery of subatomic particles. The subatomic particles like electrons, the protons and the neutrons. So let's discuss about the discovery of protons. So the discovery of another type of particles present in the atom, that is the protons. The existence of protons in the atom was shown by E. Goldstein. So he was a German scientist, and what he did was, he repeated the Thomson's experiment by just modifying the discharge tube. What was there in the discharge tube used by J.J. Thomson? It was the cathode at one end and there was the anode. The cathode was connected to the negative terminal. The anode was connected to the positive terminal of the battery. Now he just simply modified that discharge tube and led to this discovery of positive particles, that is the protons. See, Goldstein in 1886 observed or discovered that the simplest positive particle was produced from hydrogen gas in the discharge tube. So it is produced from the hydrogen gas which was taken in the discharge tube. Now let's see how he modified this discharge tube experiment or the cathode ray experiment. See, what he did was, in the cathode ray experiment, what happened? The cathode was at one end and there was the anode which was connected to the positive terminal. What he did was, he simply took the perforated cathode. This is not the gas at the low pressure. The gas at the low pressure is here. And this is the perforated cathode. This perforated cathode is connected to the negative terminal of the high voltage generator. And the anode, which is taken at one end, was connected to the positive terminal. And in this, which gas was taken? He took the hydrogen gas. He took the hydrogen gas at low pressure. And what he observed? He observed that certain rays were produced by this anode, or certain rays are coming from the anode, and they were passing through the perforations in the cathode and producing a red glow over here. Now these rays, he called these rays as canal rays. Now why canal rays? Because they seem to be moving like canals. Now these rays, they contain the positively charged particles as they pass through the perforated cathode. Now the question arises, from where these rays are produced. Is that the anode is producing, the metal is producing these rays? Or is the gas which is enclosed within this discharge tube producing these rays? Now see what happens. He gave this a wonderful explanation, and it is that, see, when the electron, when the discharge or the electric discharge or the electric current is passed through this discharge tube containing hydrogen gas at very low pressure, what happens? See, cathode will produce cathode rays. This is the cathode. It will also produce the cathode rays. Now what are these cathode rays? Or what are they composed of? They are composed of electrons. Now these electrons, they bombarded the hydrogen atoms. So when the electric current is passed, the hydrogen molecule, this gets broken down to hydrogen atoms. Now when these hydrogen atoms, they were collided by the electrons or the cathode rays. The cathode rays, they consist of these electrons, or rather we can say that the cathode ray is made up of electrons. It consists of large number of electrons. Now when this collided with the atom, what happened? The electrons knocked out of this hydrogen, and what was left in this atom was the proton. What was left in this hydrogen atom was the positively charged particle. And this positively charged particle was named as proton by E. Goldstein. Proton, as it is coming from protium, that is PROTIUM. It is one of the isotope of hydrogen. See, hydrogen has got three isotopes. It is the protium, it is actually called as protium, deuterium and tritium. It is the mass number, it should be 2 and it should be 3 like this. The protium, the deuterium and the tritium. Now as hydrogen was taken in this discharge tube, the isotope of hydrogen, that is H11, the positive charge which was left was called as proton. So this was how the protons were discovered by E. Goldstein, by just modifying the cathode ray tube which was used by J.J. Thomson. There is a vacuum pump to lower the pressure of the gas. The fundamental particle present in the anode ray is called as proton. I have told you, as it is the leftover particle of the hydrogen gas. I hope you have understood this. See, the cathode rays, they are produced by which metal? Cathode rays consisting of electrons, they bombarded the hydrogen atom. The electron was knocked out, and what is left over here is the proton, or the positively charged particle. Now this positively charged particle passed through these holes present in the cathode and produced a red glow. So as it is the leftover particle of the hydrogen atom, it is called as proton, or it was called as proton. The specific charge of a proton is 9.58 into 10 to the power 4 coulomb per gram. What is specific charge? It is the E pi m ratio. That is the charge to mass ratio. The specific charge of anode rays is not constant, but change with the gas in the tube. See how these positively charged particles are formed. These are formed after knocking out of the electron from the atom. So it depends on the type of gas taken. If it's hydrogen, the proton is 1, and it depends on the nature of the gas. It is 1 proton is over there. So when the experiment is performed with different gases, the positive residues were different, right? And they were actually the aggregates or multiples of proton. The nature of anode rays depends on the gas enclosed in the discharge tube. Why so? Because it is produced by the gas. It is produced by the atoms of the gas. How so? How? Say the cathode rays, the electrons, they knock the atoms, they knock out the electron from the gaseous atom. And then the number of protons, they are different in different atoms. So there are 7 protons in nitrogen, there are say 11 protons in sodium, or there are 8 protons in oxygen, 6 protons in carbon. So the anode rays, the nature of these anode rays depend on the gas enclosed in the discharge tube. The specific charge of anode rays is not constant, but changes with the gas in the discharge tube, as these anode rays are composed of the protons. So when the experiment was performed with the different gases, with the other gas, the positive residues were different and were actually the aggregate or multiple of protons. Say if the nitrogen gas is taken, there are 7 protons in nitrogen gas. So that will be the aggregate of these 7 protons. So proton is formed when the electron or electrons are knocked out from the atom by or due to the collision of cathode rays with the atom. It is maximum when the gas present in the discharge tube is hydrogen, which is maximum. The specific charge of anode rays is maximum. A proton is usually represented by P asterisk, so it is P positive. Say its proton, it can be positive charged. The mass of a proton. The relative mass of a proton is 1 unit. And the actual mass of the proton is 1.673 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. And what is the charge on the proton? The charge on the proton is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulombs, and that is it. That is the positive charge. The charge of a proton is equal and opposite to the charge of an electron, and it is 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulombs. And it has a relative charge of plus 1. So how can you define a proton? Protons are the fundamental material particle present in an atom which carries a unit positive charge, that is 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulombs, and a unit mass of 1.67 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. So the anode rays are composed of these positive particles, the protons. Again, there are a few properties of the anode rays. As we have discussed the properties of the cathode rays, there are a few properties of the anode rays also. Now, the anode rays travel in straight line. Then, say, cathode rays are composed of the small particles, small negatively charged particles, whereas the anode rays consist of positively charged particles and what are they called as? Known as protons. Now these anode rays are produced by how they are produced? Say the cathode rays, they strike the atom of the particles, say they strike the atoms of the gases and they knock out the electrons, and whatever is left is what? The proton. So the nature, these are the important points, students. You should remember this. The nature of anode rays depends upon the gas enclosed in the discharge tube. Then the anode rays, as they are composed of the charged particles, they will be deflected in electric and magnetic field. Now in this case, the E by M value, what is E by M value? That is a specific charge of anode rays. The ratio of charge to mass, also called as E by M values for the particles. Say E by M value for the particles are not the same for all the gases enclosed in the discharge tube. Right? So it varies with the gas. Also the nature of the anode rays vary with the gas. So there is another fundamental particle which is present in the nucleus or which is present in the atom. Where exactly it is present within the atom, this we are going to discuss later. So this is another fundamental particle. Now student, there is one more particle, one more type of particle which is present in an atom, and that is the neutron. Now let's discuss about the discovery of neutrons. See, the another fundamental particle is the neutron. The neutron was discovered by James Chadwick in 1932. See, the other particles, that is the protons and the electrons, were discovered earlier. But neutron was discovered late. The reason for the late discovery of neutrons was its neutral nature. That is, the neutrons are neutral in nature. They don't have any charge. They are neither the positively charged or the negatively charged particles. Now how he discovered? He bombarded a thin foil of beryllium with fast-moving alpha particles and observed that electrically neutral particles having mass slightly greater than that of protons were emitted. Now what are alpha particles? Alpha particles are the helium particles. This is He4 2. Now they bombarded the beryllium nuclei, that is Be9 and 2. Sorry, it's Be9 and 4, that is beryllium, and they produce the carbon 12, 6 and the neutron. So this is a reaction where alpha particle is bombarding, and it is balanced as the masses should be the same and the charges on the LHS and the RHS side of the reaction should be the same. So in this case, the total mass on the LHS is 9 plus 4, 13, and the total, the atomic number is written on the bottom of the symbol, it is 6. So it is forming carbon 12, 6 and 1 mass is left. That is these are the mass numbers, the atomic masses. And that is eliminated as, or that is emitted as a neutron. Now these particles which are produced are called as what? Neutrons, and they have very high penetrating power. Let's see the experiment here. See here students, this is the polonium, that is the alpha particle source. The alpha particle is He4 2. That is, its atomic number is 2. That is, there are 2 protons. So there will be 2 electrons and 2 neutrons. So the mass number or the atomic mass of helium is 4, whereas the atomic number is 2. The alpha particle, this polonium is producing the alpha particle. It is bombarding with the thin foil of beryllium. And what is produced over here is neutron. And what makes sure that these particles are neutron? See, this is the reaction. The alpha particle reacting with beryllium, forming carbon 12, 6 and 1 neutron. So neutrons are chargeless particles. They have got only mass. Now these neutrons, they are unstable. And what they do? So they decay to produce the proton, the electron and the antineutrino. Now these pass to the ionization chamber. Got it, students? So how he discovered how James Chadwick discovered the neutrons, that is the neutral particles, just by bombarding thin foil of beryllium with the alpha particle. Alpha particle is helium. Particle is called as the alpha particle. Now that bombarded the thin foil of beryllium and it produced the neutrons. The other atom which was produced here is carbon 12. Now these neutrons, they undergo decay and they produce protons, electrons and one more particle, that is antineutrino. So these subatomic particles, they have got high penetrating power and also they are unstable. Now this subatomic particle is not present in hydrogen atom, and that is neutron. Say hydrogen is represented by H11. Deuterium is represented by H21. Tritium is represented by H31. That is, in hydrogen, that is a protium, there is 1 proton and 1 electron. In this case, we can say the atomic number is 1 and mass is 1. In this case, there is 1 proton plus 1 neutron. In this case, there is 1 proton plus 2 neutrons. See the above one, this represents the atomic mass and this represents the atomic number, that is the number of protons. Now the specific charge of neutron is 0. What is the specific charge? It is E by M ratio, that is charge to mass ratio, and that of a neutron is 0. The characteristics of neutron: the relative mass of a neutron is 1 unit, that is the mass of the neutron is just similar to that of the mass of proton. And it is 1.67 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. Neutron has no charge, that is, it is electrically neutral. And it has got a very, very short half-life, that is, it undergoes or it decays in 20 minutes. or I can say that it has a short life or half-life of 20 minutes. Half-life, do you understand? Half-life is when when it reduces to half its actual amount. So it undergoes decay, neutron, it undergoes decay and it produces a proton plus an electron and a neutrino. So within 20 minutes, half of the neutron will be disintegrated to this. So this is all about the particles, the subatomic particles present in the atoms. There are furthermore more particles were discovered later, but these are the three fundamental particles. So now I'll be concluding this session, students. In the next session, we'll be discussing about the different models proposed by the scientists. That is the Thomson model of atom, the Rutherford model of atom. See, now we know that the particles, there are three types of particles present within the atom. That is the proton with a positive charge, the neutron with with no charge, and the electron with a negative charge. Now, how are these particles present together in such a small atom? What is the arrangement of these particles so that it is making an atom electrically neutral and also making it stable? So will be different models were proposed by the scientists. Thomson was one of them, Rutherford proposed his model, and also the Bohr model of atom. In the next session, we'll be discussing about the Thomson model of atom. So thank you, students, for listening patiently, and do have a nice time ahead.